Active FM. Radio has never been better.
What is up?
What is happening?
This is the movie show
In your ears.
on Active FM. I'm Sash.
And I'm Ryan.
And
Today we are in your ears.
Yes. With a very scandalous film topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was going to end the same as the first one.
Really?
I was like, oh, please don't tell me this is going to be the same. It's all of them, isn't it? It's all of them. They're all involved. Okay, that person died. No, it's not them.
I must be honest, at one point I was also like, I wonder if it's going to be all of them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the film Death on the Nile, which is a sequel to the film Murder on the Orient Express, which is both films are based on Agatha Christie novels, which were murder mystery novels.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same. So Kenneth Branagh, the director, and he also plays the protagonist. What's his name? Hercule Poirot. Yeah, it's a very French name. I like the way they say his name though. Especially there's the one character. She says his name and I was like, no, that was beautiful.
She must be French.
Say it again. She is French. She's actually, the actress is French, but she plays a British character within the film. But of course she would pronounce the French name.
Well, that makes so much sense.
Yes, correctly.
I bet you she was very proud. She was like,
nah. But before we get into the details of this film, I have to play on or pick on one of the actors. I'm sorry, I have to. I just, like, watching the film, I was even like, this one. Okay, so in the film, one of the actors is Armie Hammer. Now, Armie Hammer, if you don't know, has a lot of controversy that goes with him. Ryan, you didn't know this, right?
No.
So I'm going to read a little bit of an article and then you'll understand why we decided to name the show what we named it. So this is a breakdown of Armie Hammer's, number 1, abuse, and number 2, cannibalism controversy. Yes, I just said the word cannibalism. So Armie Hammer found himself in the midst of some major controversy after a woman who says she had an intimate relationship with him created an account on Instagram to share gruesome details of the bizarre sexual interactions she says they used to have. The woman also shared screenshots of explicit conversations that allegedly occurred between Hammer and multiple women via Instagram DMs. While most people wouldn't be surprised at the nature of dirty talk or sexting in 2021, the alleged conversations included talk of rape fantasies, the desire to inflict pain on his partners, and one in which the actor reportedly said he was 100% a cannibal. Okay, then it goes on to say, while a lot of the focus and reactions from the public have been centered on his sexual fetishes, from BDSM to drinking blood, cutting toes, and alleged cannibalism, the real focus here should be on the women who say they were abused and violated by him. Some of the allegations point toward abuse, a blatant violation of boundaries, and disregard for consent. While it's difficult to verify the validity, oh my goodness, of the screenshots, other women who have been romantically involved with him have come out on record and said the texts aren't all surprising to him, and then the actor's lawyer has denied the allegations made by the woman, and Hammer has referred to them as claims that are, I'm not going to repeat his words because this is a family-friendly podcast. And then it says a woman came forward in March accusing Hammer of rape, which he also quickly denied through his lawyer. The actor checked into a treatment facility in May and reportedly stayed through December. Yeah. So that is the controversy that went around Armie Hammer. Now, to be quite honest, when watching the film, I kind of felt like that was who he was in the film as well.
Well, now that you say that, I'm like,
he didn't act.
Sure.
Because he does. Yeah. There's a. Yeah. So honestly, when I was watching the film, I did have I didn't know about the cannibalism. I knew about the sexual allegations, but I didn't know about the cannibalism until I was searching tweets. And one person in their tweet actually said, before watching the film, they were like, yep, I bet Armie Hammer ate them. So that's how they died. Which, yeah. Okay, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Death on the Nile and you don't want to know who died or who was killed by who, you need to pause the podcast, go watch it, and then come back because we are spoiler alerting. But I wasn't shocked at all. I literally from the start was like, he's the killer. It's him. Here is the murderer. And then he turned out to be the murderer.
And he wasn't alone.
Yeah. To be honest, the plot line I did figure out. I was, when it was revealed, I was like, yep, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it was him. Luckily, it wasn't all of them, though. That was different to Murder on the Orient Express. But have you found that Agatha Christie stories at the end kind of leave you like, almost like feeling sick in a way?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know what it reminded me of? Remember we did The Highwaymen, which was that whole story of Bonnie and Clyde and how... Right. And then at the end of the movie, like you're like, yeah, they were caught. But at the same time, you're like...
The way that they died, both movies, the one you just mentioned, and that was the part I was just like, I was just like, okay, I knew it, all right, cool. And then the way that they died, like she shot, and I was just like
heck,
I was just like, okay, especially the way they just, I was just like, okay, that's sad.
That could have been against his will.
Yeah, but they just like everyone's watching and then they just die. Like they just slump over. I was just like,
what else?
I was just like, bleh. I don't know, but more, but just the way they just slop forward and like they're over each other and they're just like, bleh. And then everyone's just sitting around going,
what else do you do?
I'm just saying it was so weird the way the camera just stayed on it, you know.
So you wanted the camera to go off?
For me, that was the part where I just went, okay, all right, cool. And then it ended, and then I closed my laptop and I went to sleep.
Look, I wouldn't say it's a bad film. I did enjoy it. There were a few elements, though, that I was like, seriously. Would you say you preferred Murder on the Orient more than this one?
Yeah, definitely.
From what perspective?
Hands down. I almost felt like, I don't know, like it didn't, for me, I didn't feel as pulled in to the film that much. Yeah, I didn't feel that, it didn't in. I was sitting there, I was just like, okay, like you said, I was thinking to myself, please don't tell me that it's all of them again. And then I had the suspicion in the back of my mind, where the first one, you don't have the suspicion at all. So it's almost like a same thing, repeat, just with a slight different twist. Because it's the same thing. They're all going onto this vehicle and they're going out far together, and it's almost this like leisure, thing. And then there's a murder, and both of them happened at night, right? And then there is different people that you suspect that could all, and then they all come together, and then they have to solve the mystery, and then they solve the mystery. And I think he was holding a gun in the other one as well, wasn't he? Yes, he was holding a gun in the Murder on the
Orient Express.
Yeah, so I was almost just like, it felt like a sitcom to me.
Really?
Yeah. It was almost just, okay, what I'm saying is almost like a series.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The drama.
You just like...
The murder. The mystery.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say what I didn't like about the film and what I did like about the film. So the first thing I did not like about the film was it was very sexual. Like, it was I was still like, okay, what the hell? So they didn't do nudity, they didn't do anything, but like it was explicit the way the actors touched one another, and it was just like, okay, that's why I was like, Armie Hammer was not far off from who he is in real life, because I was just like, whoa, surely what was the age restriction?
I don't know. My wife at one point said, please don't tell me they're not going to, please tell me that they're not going to show funny stuff.
Yeah. Look, at least there was no nudity, but it still was like, okay, the second thing I didn't enjoy was they decided to bring in a lesbian couple, which I was like, that's not even in the book. Like, I'm pretty sure that was not in the book.
Yeah.
So like that, I was just, and it's, it doesn't even add anything to the story. Like, honestly, what did it add to the story? Is this you trying to think of what it added to the story? It really didn't add anything to the story.
Nothing at all.
So that irritated me. And then I think I was cool with everything else.
Yeah.
The one thing that did shock me, though, that I didn't like, but this, I'm not going to say I didn't like the film because of this. It really shocked me, was when Book died.
Yeah.
That, I was upset. I was like, no, don't kill him. I like him. Don't go. Like, for me, that was, I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
Apparently, that isn't fictional. So, in the book, excuse the pun, because the character's name is Book as well. But in the book, he wasn't in this one. He wasn't in Death on the Nile. There was another character, and then what they did was they brought him back from the first film, and then they took that character that was in the book and kind of like merged it together.
Do you know if it was a good friend of his as well?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I could be wrong.
I think that's what really made the impact.
Oh no, his death was the most painful.
It's a good friend of his.
Yeah.
And especially in the beginning, the way that,
No, I liked him.
The kite
Yeah,
and everything.
I really liked him.
And what I also liked was the fact that they give a bit of background behind the inspector. I'm not going to say his name because
Hercule
I will. Yeah,
Poirot.
yeah, with the whole scar thing and
Yeah, that was
everything,
cool.
I was just like,
That was,
okay.
and even
the black and white in the beginning.
You can't.
Wow.
You can't shade or shame Kenneth Branagh's directing. Honestly, he's brilliant. He really is on my top directors list.
And you know what's
amazing.
crazy? When I was looking at the inspector as a character, I didn't see what was his name, the Russian guy in
From Tenant.
I was trying so hard to pick and I couldn't.
No, he's a brilliant
and that's
actor.
good. That was really brilliant. I don't know if you see the way that he pulls his lips in.
Yeah, and he's an Englishman.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing, the amount of the different accents that took place within the film, like that was crazy. But his directing was definitely on point. The one thing I do think was very clever, I loved the way they did this, was with Murder on the Orient Express, I remember for some reason knowing that Johnny Depp's character was going to die. Like that, it wasn't a surprise when his character died. Like, you kind of saw it coming, whereas in this one you didn't know until the character died.
There was
who
a
was
guess.
gonna die.
There was a guess. You're like, oh yes, okay.
Like, you were like,
yeah.
But is it? And even the trailer didn't give it away.
I was expecting a complete twist. I'm like, she's gonna die. And I was like, but maybe it's him. Wait, maybe it's not. Maybe it's like completely someone else.
You kind of didn't know. And because even you didn't know who was going to die.
And I think the death was a lot more prolonged, wasn't it?
Yes,
the first one, it was just like, bah!
I'm nervous. I'm getting death threats.
Yay.
Please do something. No, I'm not going to help you. You're a gangster. Then he was dead. And then... Yeah. But and then also there was more than one death in this one compared to Murder on the Orient Express. There was only one death.
That just made me narrow it down more, because I was sort of like, oh, it's all of them except for him and her.
Can I be honest though? One thing they did get me on, so I just want to go to the characters' names. So obviously Armie Hammer's character, he was Simon Doyle in the film. He was the murderer. But then you had Jacqueline, I don't know her character's surname, but Jacqueline, who's played by Emma McKay. I liked her character in the beginning. I actually liked her, and I felt sorry for her character. And I was like, no man, they did her wrong. Like, what the hell? And at the end, eventually, I was like, wait a minute. And then when I found out, spoiler alert, she killed Book. I was finished. I was like, no, this woman deserves to die. How could she go and kill Book?
Yeah.
So I actually did like her. But for me, the story...
I've seen her somewhere else. I couldn't... I was just like, her face. And I couldn't... Yeah.
There were a lot of character actors.
Russell
actually.
Brand, I was like, wow.
I recognized him and couldn't place him. I was like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? I know that face.
My wife immediately just said, wait. And then what's the name of this film again?
But how good was his acting?
I knew it.
How good was his acting?
I was just like, sure. Is that what he looks like? Like, obviously he had a bit of a beard, But yes, brilliant.
But normally he's crazy.
Yeah.
Like normally he's the conspiracy
Minions.
theorist. He's like wacko. This film, he was this English gentle. I recognized him, but I couldn't place him because of his acting. And for me, that's when an actor's good, is when you recognize their face, but you can't place them simply because they're not acting like themselves, or they're not acting like So it's the same with Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
You look at his face and you're like, I know this guy from somewhere. Where do I know this guy from? For me, those are true actors. Like, honestly, like, his acting was brilliant. Armie Hammer, I personally am not a fan just because of all the allegations that have gone down with him. So
I didn't notice him.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him. I don't know. Yeah.
you don't. He was in.
Yeah.
Remember the Man from Uncle?
Oh yes,
Guy
that's
Ritchie
right.
film. Yeah, he was in that.
Oh yes.
He's also acted in a gay film with Timothée Chalamet.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Gal Gadot.
Yes.
She was just herself.
She was.
She was basically herself. Yeah. But her character, I'm like, chick, how can you go and steal your best friend's man like that? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, if he can do that to you, or if he can do that to her with you, then, so for me, like, she had it coming. I'm not saying that her death was correct, but still. Like, imagine if she just stuck with Russell Brand's character. She would have been fine. She would have been alive. She would have been happy.
She knew that you couldn't trust anybody.
She could.
I mean, come on, people.
For me, I really enjoyed Annette Bening. I think that's how you say her surname. She was Book's mom. I really enjoyed her. Her acting was really good.
Yeah, she
and
was
then
good.
Tom Bateman came back as Book. So him and Kenneth Branagh were the two actors that actually reprised their roles.
Yeah.
Then Letitia Wright played Rosalie.
Like, the minute I saw, I was like, "Hey, look who it is!"
Can I be honest? I didn't enjoy her acting.
She had that southern twang.
But I feel like it was put on.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching Daniel Craig in Knives Out, and that's not his accent. Like, it's not his accent. But I don't know. I just felt like she was acting.
Well, she was acting.
Would you? But no, you're not supposed to feel like that you don't feel like Kenneth Branagh's acting. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're watching someone being someone else when you're watching a film.
Yeah.
You feel like that's why when you see the actor in real life, you're like, oh, they're
Like
so
Russell Brand.
different. Yeah, exactly. Like with her, I felt like I was watching her performance, and it slightly irritated me. I don't know how she came across to you.
Yeah, she was.
She was cool.
Yeah.
Unless it's just I don't like the southern accent. There's a possibility. No, Russell Brand was brilliant. And then there were a lot of... also Rose Leslie. She played the handmaiden to Gal Gadot's character.
Oh, yes.
She was very good. I
She was
enjoyed...
French in the movie as well.
Yes,
eh?
I enjoyed her acting. Yeah. So the only two characters to reprise their roles is Kenneth Branagh and then his friend Book, who's played by Tom Bateman. And this movie was delayed so many times. So originally it was set for release in 2019. Then it got delayed because of filming, and so it was pushed back to 2020. And then 2020 happened, and it got pushed back to 2021. And then it was announced to be delayed again till February 2022 due to the Armie Hammer accusations. So he did hurt the film. He actually did
snap.
hurt the film.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I think it was maybe wise for them to just hold it, because like all of it maybe blew over, but still I do think he
You wait for it to blow over.
yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like,
This caught me. I don't know if you picked this up, Ryan. So at the end of Murder on the Orient Express, Kenneth Branagh, the inspector, is told that there's been a death on the Nile.
yeah.
And then in the novel Death on the Nile, he's first on the boat before and at the time. So
I was wondering about that.
he was called to a murder, but in this film
He was actually
he
called
was
to a
there
case.
when the murder happened.
Yeah.
So like that didn't tie up.
Didn't quite make sense. I just put it together as, because obviously he was there on a case for his friend.
Yeah. Well, his friend's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was hired by his friend's
So I
mother.
was like, oh, okay. It's not a death, but okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
But one of the things they said is it could be that that was referring to another death. So that was another case.
So
and then
he happened to be there.
yeah, after, I don't know. Yeah. This I don't agree with. So authorities in some Islamic countries have refused to allow the film to be released due to the inclusion of Jewish Israeli actress Gal Gadot. So literally because there is a Jewish Israeli actress in this film, they would not allow it to be released. That is discrimination. I'm sorry. Of all the things being fought for in the world, why is that not fought against?
So what did she do?
So the reason is prior to commencing an acting career, Gadot was in the Israeli army and has proven to controversial due to comments she has made in her past regarding Israel that some Muslims may have taken offense to.
Wow.
So Armie Hammer, let's just get this right. Let's just put this into perspective, right? So Armie Hammer has cannibalism allegations against him, which means he eats other human beings, right? But no country in the world was like, no, sorry, we won't let the film be... Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, fine, if you... this is what we've got to do. We've either got to take actors' personal lives into consideration and then act fairly amongst all actors, right?
Yeah.
Which means Will Smith should not be in any film ever again, if we're going with that standard.
Right.
Amber Heard shouldn't be in a film if Johnny Depp was taken out. So if we're gonna bring actors' personal lives into their career, then it must be a standard across everyone, right? But then Gal Gadot, who served in her country's army, which is actually a very noble thing to do, especially as a woman. She served time in her country's army.
That's hardcore, eh?
Right? And now, because of that, Muslim countries won't allow the film to be released.
So how many countries is that?
Well, suppose, I don't know.
What's that, like India?
No,
Not?
more like
Pakistan?
Syria, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq. Yeah, those, so Arab countries. But if I'm like, seriously, if we're gonna allow actors, and I mean, she didn't even do anything. I don't see her do. What she did is not controversial. What she did was not inhumane. What she fought in her own country's army, which is it's not like she didn't commit treason. Nothing. She just did that, which is quite a noble thing to do. I mean, she put her life on the line for her country, and now because of that, she's receiving criticism and even, what's the word? She's being hacked.
Like the whole movie's...
Because she was in it, but now there's a cannibal as well, but no one's up in arms about the cannibal.
It's quite hectic, eh? I mean, does that mean like every actor has to be like...
Personally, I do believe... This is my stance on it. I do believe that actors' personal lives should be taken into account, because otherwise you have instances where Will Smith is able to assault someone and he doesn't have charges against him. He has people applauding him, which for me is not right. Like,
because now it drives everyone else.
Exactly. And it means that if you get to a point of fame, you can do whatever the hell you want, and no one will say anything. Exactly.
And get
in fact, you'll get encouraged to do it, which for me isn't right, because where are human rights then? Because now, just because a person is rich and famous enough, they can do whatever the hell they want. So for me, I do believe that as an actor, your personal life should have an effect on your career, because many actors and actresses go and do whatever they want, and they're not even shamed for it, and that's not okay. And on top of that, a lot of people look up to actors and actresses as role models, but now if they're going and doing crazy things like eating people,
punching someone on stage, like
what has the world come to? Actors should be respectable.
Right now it's a thing of selection, so no, we'll leave that. We won't. It's fine for that.
But she fought in the Israeli army, so no, we're not gonna.
Yeah. I mean, what did she do?
Nothing. She just was in her country's army.
Yes. Exactly.
And she's a woman. Which means she's got more guts than most men out there.
Yeah. I mean, she shouldn't have been killed. She should have been the killer. or the killer's killer. Yes, the killer's killer.
Makes you respect Gal Gadot more.
You see?
Right?
So whenever we see her, I'm going to salute.
Right.
Yes. Whenever she's on stage. on TV.
Now, back to the accent. So the majority of the film's lead actors can be said that they traded accents, which is very true.
Oh,
so
really?
there's American actors Annette and Armie Hammer speak with British accents. If I said Armie Hammer was British, I do apologize. I don't think I did, but he's American. But they're British in the film. And then many of the main British actors use either American accents, that includes Letitia Wright, Jennifer Saunders, and Dawn French, or French, Rose Leslie, and of course Branagh's own character they switched to, so they are British but they played French characters. And then we have the Indian actor Ali Fazal. He speaks with a British accent. And then Gal Gadot is the film's only non-British main actor to speak in her off-screen accent, which is a vaguely Israeli accent, as she does in nearly all her films, although that did make sense because of her character's background. And I mean, yeah, so, but a lot of the actors, they switched accents. The only accent that bothered me was Letitia Wright. It was the only one.
Is it?
Yeah. Otherwise, I thought they were all pretty good. Actually, not pretty good. They were very good.
Very good, yeah.
Now.
So Sophie, that she was like that singer.
Yes.
And she's English. Wow.
She did a good job.
That's good.
What I'm saying.
She came across a very strong Southern American.
Her accent didn't bother me.
No.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I thought she was American.
That's what I'm saying with Letitia Wright, is that, you shouldn't pick up that they're acting. You should think they're American. It's like Andrew Garfield. You'd think he's American until you hear him in interviews. You're like, wow, he's British. Even Tom Holland, you'd think he's American until you hear him in interviews, and then you're like, wow.
Sometimes I wonder why they don't lose their native accent.
Tom Hardy, that's happened to him. If you listen to Tom Hardy, he's like a mixture of all the different accents he's ever played. That's what I feel like when I listen to Tom Hardy speak.
It sounds so weird when I hear him talk.
Yes, because it's like he's got a little bit of everything in him. Yeah.
But even for like we mentioned now, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, when I hear them talk like in English, I'm almost like talk some more, man. That's what I feel. I'm like, I want to hear more of their like native, but it's
their native tongue.
Their native, yes, accent.
There is talk that there will be a third film that Kenneth Branagh will direct, based on an Agatha Christie book. I personally would watch it. So for me, I would. I did enjoy Death on the Nile. There were a few things that. Obviously, there's the speculation with Armie Hammer. There was the stuff I mentioned in the film that I didn't like, but otherwise, I did enjoy it. The cinematography was beautiful. The sets and costume design was incredible. Like, honestly, Kenneth Branagh's directing is really, really good. So really I personally would watch another murder mystery
somewhere else.
With Kenneth Branagh. And I do enjoy that he gets a whole lot of different actors on board each time he does it. I will be sad though that Book won't be in it, because I really like Book. He was really cool.
Yeah.
But I actually went to search. So Kenneth Branagh is a director, but an actor as well. So he's been in Tenet. He's been in Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. He was even in Avengers Infinity War. I think it was Infinity War. It was either Infinity War or Endgame, but he was there. But I went to search specifically films that he's directed, and I actually want to go and watch I haven't watched a lot of his films. There's a film that came out in 2021, which I've heard quite a lot about. It's called Belfast. And Belfast is actually it's the story of Kenneth Branagh as a child.
What?
So he directs his own biopic, which is so cool. I want to go watch that. He also directed Artemis Fowl, which I never actually watched. I know about it, but I want to go watch it. There's also a 2018 film called All Is True. He did Murder on the Orient Express. He directed Disney's live-action remake of Cinderella, which was very good. I know, Ryan, I know, but it was very good.
Wow.
So, and I watched it, and I think I watched it like twice. He directed Thor.
That's right.
For anyone who, yes. And then he even directed Romeo and Juliet, a live stage production of Romeo and Juliet. I don't
no.
know. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it's too soon.
No, I know how I feel about it.
But maybe because it's Kenneth Branagh, you'll just be... Yeah, I don't know.
Same story.
But I definitely want to go watch Belfast and even Artemis Fowl. Yeah.
I want to go watch Belfast.
Yeah. But Kenneth Branagh,
That
can't
looks-
complain against
That
him.
looks super interesting.
Yeah.
It's a 2022 film.
2021.
Sorry, 2021
Yeah.
film.
Came out last year. Very good. I've heard a lot of people talk about it a couple of times. That was a very sad sentence right there. Basically, in
We get
short,
it.
I want to go watch the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
So-
a lot of people have spoken about it.
Yes. Yeah. But I do think that we need to discuss the Oscars because that did just happen.
Yes.
And one of the things we do need to discuss is the fact that so many of the films that won, most people haven't watched.
Yeah. So who picks the movies? How do
Coming
they
next
pick
week
them?
on the movie show.
How do they?
Yay.
Who picks them? Who rates them at the top? How do they whose decision? According to who? Oscar? Is there a person called Oscar? And they're the ones?
Probably.
That's why they
Maybe.
call it.
Why is it called the Oscars?
You see? That's why they call it the Oscars.
So
because it's Oscar. But we'll discuss
we'll
that.
be back next week
We'll
to
discuss that in the
educate
next
ourselves and then to let you know what we learned.
Yes. So what? Do we watch all of them? and then next week?
Maybe we pick one.
I suppose we should research, go look at all
Look,
the ones
I did
that
watch.
won.
So I know Tick Tick Boom. Boom one. I've watched that one.
Yeah.
I know The Power of Dog with Benedict Cumberbatch one. I haven't watched that, which
Yes.
I'd be interested in watching. I'm trying to think what else won. There was that movie with Will Smith. That one.
Mm.
Do you know that movie is based on Venus and Serena Williams' father,
Oh, is it?
Richard Williams? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tennis players, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be funny if it wasn't. Tennis players, it would be like, what? Where do you get tennis players? I don't know. Sounds like tennis players. Williams,
Serena? Venus?
Yeah.
No?
you know. Yes.
Yeah, so we'll be back next week. But yeah, let us know your thoughts if you think actors' personal lives should
Matter.
affect their career, especially if they're cannibals. People, come on, man, what the hell? What
Do-
the freaking hell?
Do actors' personal lives matter?
Yes. Yeah.
Rate yes or rate no?
Yeah, but
Or give us thumbs up or give us thumbs.
I vote Armie Hammer
Down,
should be worked out
below.
of the film industry.
Yeah.
That's my final
That's
conclusion.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
No. Yeah. But this has been the movie show.
Until next week.
Peace.
And goodbye.